and that codified behavior that we have seen from the white supremacist sports media. Big corporate sports, they are back at it again. They are ass backwards once again when it comes to black quarterbacks, particularly Shedeur Sanders. But don't forget Deshaun Watson and a host of others. Going to react to some of the good guys in sports that are interested in talking sports and not speaking a white supremacist agenda.
You know the drill. Do not forget to hit that thumbs up. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. I am raw.
One year ago today, I seriously thought that the Tennessee Titans with the first overall pick were going to take Shedeur Sanders. Silly me. And the biggest injustice in the history of the draft happened. And he fell, and he fell, and he fell some more into the fifth round. And I guess we've talked enough about that, but I'm still rooting for him. I still believe in him.
No, we haven't talked enough about that. About the biggest travesty in the history of the draft, the biggest injustice. I like how we put that. I rarely agree with Skip Bayless. He said some silly things recently about LeBron James and the playoff game, but we might tackle that later. But about Shedeur Sanders, they are still using that fraudulent fifth round pick position as a reference point and as support for their white supremacist behavior, their anti-Shedeur family behavior. Now what we are seeing is someone that clearly showed that he should be the starter last year, and they are continuing to disrespect him. Now, I can understand why there is a quarterback competition between him and Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is that good, and I think Deshaun might surprise some people. But the constant lies, the mythology. You had some bald-headed, suspected white supremacists on UCSS the other day. That is the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Talking about, I heard Shedeur doesn't focus or doesn't study hard. All of these dog whistles and all of these references to his intelligence scream of white supremacy. We're going to keep going, but I like how Skip started that off.
So you mentioned the Browns maybe trading backward from 6. What I would love to see is the Browns trading up 2 spots, and they've got 6 and 24. So it might take giving 24 to go up 2 spots with said Tennessee Titans, if they would back out of there, and give Shedeur Jeremiah Love. That would be the pairing that would make me happiest. I would just love to see the momentum of that. And it just would send a message. And I still don't even know if Shedeur is going to be able to beat out Deshaun Watson. I have no idea. Got new coach, new style, new approach. I'm just not sure about it, but it would do my heart good given what happened 1 year ago. It just crushed my heart. Just see Shedeur, if in fact he's going to be the guy, and I believe he has to be the guy, to have Jeremiah Love to go forward with, because that would be box office.
What do you think about that? I think it is high time that the Browns select a groundbreaking, a life-changing selection, a blue chipper. Somebody that is once in a lifetime, generational talent is the word I'm trying to find. And I don't know about not selecting a wide receiver, but is Jeremiah Love that good? I don't know much about him, and I know he plays for Notre Dame. Somebody out there answer that for me. Would you take him over Carnell Tate right now? I think Quinshon Judkins is good enough, but we're going to keep going here. I would like to see Shedeur Sanders with top-notch wide receivers. Now, if the problem with Cleveland is they have to choose between a great veteran in Deshaun and a great sophomore in Shedeur, well, that's a good place to be. That means you have 2 great quarterbacks on your roster. But Jeremiah Love, and not a receiver first off, if Jeremiah Love is that good, maybe.
That would be a pairing.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think they need to address offensive line
and receiver
and wide receiver first because they got good. And Jeremiah loves a generational player. I get it, and I would love to. I think any quarterback would love to hand the ball off to Jeremiah. Let him go run. Or Quinshon Judkins looked really good last year.
Yeah, what's the difference between him and Judkins?
I know, I like Quinshon Judkins.
They're a different style of running back. I think Love is a little bit more explosive and a little more polished, and he's a better route runner and receiver out of the backfield. But Quinshon Judkins is a very talented player. I think they're good at running back. I think they need to address. They could potentially, if they trade back, get 2 tackles in this draft and then get the best available wide receiver, wherever they may be at 12 or 20 if they trade with Dallas. Because there's
24 sound good.
Right? 12, 20, 24. Let's get a receiver and 2 tackles.
Yeah.
And 2 guys that can start from day one.
He's going to have a lot more
because there could potentially there's probably going to be 6 receivers that go in the first round in this draft and potentially 6 or 8 tackles that could also jump up into the first round or offensive linemen in this draft as well. So why not stack up on capital?
See, I think all of this maneuvering and moving around, keep your picks and select the best person on the board. I don't know if a running back is what you want to do at that high of a pick and to trade around and do all that. Running backs get hurt a lot. Judkins got hurt, unfortunately, this year. The other dude there had a point. What's the difference between Love and Judkins? I guess one is a better route runner, as Cody Kessler said. I don't know. I don't know enough about Love, but I don't know what to think. I know that you should do what's practical, and what's practical is taking someone like Carnell Tate to pair with Shedeur to give him a weapon. All Shedeur needed last year was someone to catch a damn ball and someone to block for him. So get both of those things. You could be looking at a playoff team here.
Live with Quinshon Judkins. I'm not just saying live with him. He's a talented player.
Yeah.
Go forward with Quinshon Judkins, and then go get some other guys.
Hey, I got it. You're making too much sense. I'm doing fantasy football. I'm doing dream trade. That would make me happy. That would be like, but Pro Football Focus all year ranked their offensive line dead last in their receiving core dead last.
Yeah. And that gives him no opportunity to succeed if he's not protected.
And for a running back,
even Love.
There's guys that are unique talents that can make a couple guys miss, but we saw Ashton Genty this year in Las Vegas. Still had some production, but when you don't have an offensive line blocking for you and you don't have a great scheme, it doesn't matter who's back there running the football. It's going to be tough to be productive. So I would prioritize offensive line and wide receiver.
I have a question, though.
Yep.
Is Deshaun Watson better than Shedeur Sanders?
This records conversations better than taking notes ever could. This is Pocket, an AI note taker that...
Is Deshaun Watson better than Shedeur Sanders?
We've talked about this.
He used to be.
He's had his shine.
Used to be?
Yeah.
He's had his couple years.
What would have changed that?
He ain't the 5-year span that happened.
Because that was 2020.
Just his absence.
And the injuries, that all plays a factor. You get out, you don't play football for a while, you lose that momentum that you had. They're trying to recreate it, but you never know if you can get it back.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins got it back. There's a couple guys got it back. And they're not Deshaun Watson. Like, we're talking about a guy who was really good at one point. And I feel like at that position, when you got talent like him, it just doesn't disappear overnight. So I don't think Shedeur is going to be in the running for that position.
I mean, but overnight, while you was sleeping, dreaming, overnight, you popped your Achilles 3 times.
Yeah.
That's what happened overnight. Like, that's major.
I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah, but if Cleveland wants to be successful this year, they can't just pick a guy. Todd Monken has to make sure that it is a legit open quarterback competition.
100%.
That Shedeur learn from his rookie
100%.
mistakes and improve.
100%.
See if Deshaun Watson, who you're paying all this money to get back to the form that we've seen before, let them go head-to-head and let the best man win. You also got Dylan Gabriel in the mix. I'm sure he'll get to compete a little bit as well, although I think we kind of know what he's going to be. But let Deshaun and let Shedeur go head-to-head and let them...
The momentum is going to lean towards Shedeur for sure. But you're talking about the things you need to address with the O-line and the receivers. I've gotten little birdies talking about Hopkins, being a potential target for them and having somebody to throw to as far as not having to go through the draft and try to do something like that where we're going.
And I don't know about McCants talking football, but whatever. The more I think about it, the more they need to draft a wide receiver and start Shedeur Sanders. Like I said, Shedeur has that it. I like Deshaun as the backup and as the mentor. Now, if Deshaun legitimately beats Shador out in the preseason, then it is what it is. But I don't see Shador losing. I think Shador is focused like a laser beam supremely this year. He wants to do it.
Regardless if it's Deshaun or Shador, you need someone that you can depend on to get open and throw to, and you need a tight end that you can depend on. And I think you address one of these two things, you will see a different Shador. I think that's the one thing he's always been able to do is have a dependable receiver that if he can throw to you, he will throw it to you. He's been known to be very accurate.
Deadly accurate.
But when you talk about his decision making,
that's a rookie year.
It's a little bit immature. So
sounds like he doesn't know what he's talking about. His decision making is fine. He did too much at times, but like Talib said, that is rookie stuff. That's what rookies do. He is deadly accurate. As Skip Bayless said, this McCants guy needs to go back to hating on LeBron.
If you can bring in a guy who knows what he's doing, I'm not saying that Deshaun is going to be the shell of who he was, but I think just namesake and what the experience does, if you depending on Shador for the first 3 weeks of the season and he doesn't pan out, you're going to have to go backwards. And would you rather go backwards or would you rather go forward?
That ain't really backwards to me, though.
Yeah, go ahead. Who, Deshaun Watson going backwards?
Yeah, I mean, if Shador start the season off and 4 weeks you don't like it, you go to Deshaun, I don't really see that as going back.
Why wouldn't you start with Deshaun?
Because that's old news to me. I done had Deshaun, already got his opportunity.
So let me do the first 2 weeks and then we end off with Shador. Let me come in and let me see what I can do as the vet.
But I already seen what you can do, though.
You haven't seen anything.
I did.
When?
He's been there for 3-4 years already.
He hasn't played in the last 2 years.
That's my whole point. So I already seen.
So I'm back. I'm back.
But that's like to what you're both saying. That's why it needs to be an open quarterback competition. OTAs, summer, fall camp. It needs to be an open quarterback competition. Whoever they think
They
gives
both
their
have a
team
lot
the
to
best
prove.
chance to win. They're the starter from day one, and I'm with you. If that guy doesn't pan out the first couple of weeks, then put the other guy in there, see what he can do, and then you might be back in the running next year to draft a quarterback in this quarterback-heavy draft class in 2027. But you've got to give both these guys an opportunity in the offseason to prove that they can be the guy. And to your point, too, I'll defend Shador a little bit, talking about his decision-making. When you're on a team that has a lot of deficiencies at offensive line, at wide receiver, you tend to try to do a little bit more. Instead of just making the right play, you try to make the big-time play.
Yeah.
I think that hurt him a little bit last year. So if you give him some more weapons, makes his job a little bit easier. Now I can throw a slant to a Tyson, to a Tate, to a Lemon that can take it 50 yards. Now I know that I'm protected with guys on the outside because we just drafted these 2 tackles, which now incentivizes you to be a little bit more cautious with the football and make the right play.
So you're saying
Excellent points right there by Kessler. I'm going to keep going.
the Browns should go for a receiver with their
I think that
over O-line.
Yeah, I think, it depends on who's
Because you just said
available.
Tyson, Tate, and
Depends
those aren't
on
going to
who's
be available at
They're
24.
I don't even know what their draft plan is. That's why I say if they're sitting at 6 and Tate's available and that's been their guy from day one, then don't move at all. Take him, and then at 24, you can get an offensive lineman or get an offensive tackle.
Easy.
If there's not a guy that you love and Tate goes to the Giants or Tate goes somewhere else early on, and it's not the guy that you're in love with, then trade back. They've done it before. Andrew Berry's not afraid to trade back, add some capital, then get your next level wide receiver that you want, and then add 2 more tackles potentially in the first round. And now you just got 3 day one starters that immediately make your offense better. It sounds great in theory. Now, obviously, a lot of things have to happen.
Yeah.
Teams have to be willing to trade. But, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, that's kind of where I would start.
Well, let's not.
Yeah, no, I mean, very true what he's saying. And the biggest problem with Cleveland and Shador last year was the blocking on the offensive line and the wide receivers. People like Jerry Jeudy that can't catch. Shador was putting it right on the money. Then he tried to do too much, trying to make things happen because he has that champion's state of mind. I'm going to do it no matter what, even if I make a mistake. That is very powerful. That's the guy you want to start. I'm going to admit, I'm torn between him and Watson. I like Watson. I'm probably the only one out here that likes Watson, but I think Watson is not a bad choice, but Shador has that championship swagger. He's got to start. The players love him. The fans love him. I think if you get a rookie from Ohio State like Tate and pair him up with Shador Sanders, magic will happen. Now, it is very refreshing to hear people discuss football and not an agenda, an anti-black agenda, a white supremacist agenda, an anti-Shador family agenda. You see how smoothly the conversation goes when you have people that are talking football. They still disagree. They still debate. But the debates are not manufactured. They're not fake like you see on 92.3 The Fan Cleveland or on UCSS or on any of those white supremacist suspected shows on ESPN. With their false arguments about Shador. Kirk Cousins went to the damn Raiders and they're still talking about him. Josh Allen stunk up the stadium in Denver during the playoffs and they're acting like he has no flaws. I'll take Shador over Josh Allen right now and any day. Watch what I tell you. Todd Monken. I think Todd Monken wants to start Shador. I think he's always wanted Shador to play for him, and he finally got what he wants. Todd seems like he has kind of a uncle vibe. Not to talk about his age, but a grandfatherly vibe. He wants to see the young guy make it. I get that vibe from him. He seems like somebody that is good at development. I like how he talks. He talks strategy. He talks football. No need to mention the last coach. He's not here anymore. I got a good feeling about the Cleveland Browns in the draft and this upcoming season. I think they're going to surprise some people. I think I heard Tyvis Powell, I almost said Tavis Smiley, Tyvis Powell say the Browns can win the division. He's predicting that. I might get behind him on that. You know what? As a matter of fact, I am. Magical things happen when you have someone that wants to win and has something to prove, like Shador Sanders. Remember that scene in Rocky? It was a real tearjerker when he got knocked out and he saw his father. And he said, I want to prove that I'm not a mistake, that I'm not just a child of some groupie. I think Shador Sanders has that same vibe. He wants to prove that he's not Deion's son. He is Shador, and he can play this damn game, and they're trying to stand in the way of him doing that. What can I say? You know we have hit a bad place in sports when you are praising people for doing what they're supposed to do, and that's discuss sports and not give you some bullshit opinion and some dumbass codified hateful response. Shador Sanders brings out the worst in the sports media. He is their nightmare. A black man at the quarterback position that you can't really say anything negative about. Not the attitude, not the skills. He didn't come from in a B2B background. I'd be so happy that my coach came down to the projects to get me and play college football. He like a father figure. No. Nothing wrong with that guy, but Shador ain't that guy. So they have been reduced to making things up. And listen, mind you people, it will get worse. You're going to hear them call for Dylan Gabriel as we get closer to the season. Let him make one mistake. Let him forget to tie his shoelace. Let him throw one pick. Let him stumble and trip and fumble. And they're going to start calling him every name in the book, including low IQ, which is nothing but projection coming from the white supremacist Neanderthal community. Caveman logic.
But you all let me know what you think. Leave your comments in the box.
Mental game, the vision, the plan, execution. Yeah.